My wife and I spent the last week of December and the first 2 weeks of January in Europe. We did some skiing over there. It was a lot of fun. When we left Colorado to fly to Europe, there was almost no snow on the ground at our ranch. When we came back, there was about 4 feet of wet, heavy snow. So it's time to try a new snowblower. I've had a little wheeled snowblower, a 24-inch one, for about 10 years. It still works. It works fine, but I wanted something with a little bit more oomph. So I went out to our local store and bought a Honda 28-inch. It's the HSS 928A model. It is a tracked snowblower. One of the reasons I got the Honda, probably the prime reason over its competitor, which is Ariens, I guess is the other kind of major brand. Anyways, I got the Honda because the local dealer said the Honda required less upper body strength to operate, and I'm already 68 years old and I'm not gaining upper body strength anytime soon. Anyways, here I am getting it out of the back of the pickup, just using some snowmobile ramps to walk it on down there. So I'm going to walk you through the controls. That's the drive control that engages the tracks when you hold that down. So when you're operating it, that's being held down by your left hand. There's a lever underneath that is a brake for the left-hand track, and there's a similar one on the right-hand side for the right-hand track. Those allow you to turn using, kind of a selective braking of the tracks. And that works pretty well under most circumstances. This lever is kind of neat. So it allows you to change the angle of the auger housing and auger and lift it up off the ground. I'm going to show how useful that was at one point in the video. You can do that when you're underway, so you can actually change how high or low your auger is when you're operating the thing. And you probably just saw it. It just took one finger to do it. I think it's got a gas assisted strut on it that makes that pretty easy to use. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so there it is. I'm just going to lower it back down again. Again, very simple to do. And now the auger housing and auger are back on the normal level for doing snowblowing. That's the throttle, pretty straightforward. I'll get to that wonderful lever in a second. This is a joystick that handles the chute. You can point it right or left or up or down, and it's just electrically controlled through that. That's the auger control. So when you're operating it, the auger control stays down, right? So you hold it down to get the thing started, then you start the drive control, and when you do that, the auger control stays down. The beauty of that is now your right hand is free. And the reason you want your right hand free is to move the center lever, the orange lever that I'll show right there in a second. That orange lever controls forward and reverse and the speed. So that's really nice. Like you don't have a gear shift on it. Instead of that, it's a hydrostatic transmission. So it's like, a continuously variable transmission, and it'll go pretty fast or really, really slow. But you control all of that when your left hand is holding down the drive engagement lever on the left, and then your right hand is free to speed up, slow down, forward, reverse, and so on. So it's a very slick system. I'll show you how it works in actually digging snow when we get into the video of the snow throwing. The first big chore I want to do with this is to clear the decks on my house. I need to get this heavy snow off of them so the weight doesn't damage the decks. It's only the middle of January, and there's already a lot of weight on those decks, so it's got to come off. I was hoping that it would more easily climb stairs. It got up the stairs, but it was a bit of a struggle. I made it work. It was okay. A little bit easier coming down, fortunately. I think I really need some ramps to make that work. So if you're hoping that these will be easy to get up and down stairs, I've got to tell you, it's doable, but I think a set of ramps, if you're going to do much up and down on stairs, would be helpful. But I did make it work and got it up the stairs. I did a little bit of blowing on the first day I got it. This is the first day I got it up the stairs. I didn't film much of that, but I came out the next morning after it had been sitting on the deck all night long. You know, I don't know what it is, 25 degrees this morning, and we're going to try a truly cold start on the Honda. It's got a little lever, a fuel cutoff lever, so I'm fumbling for it and finally found it there. So you just turn on the fuel cutoff lever, and there's a choke. You pull out the choke a little bit, hit the throttle, make sure it's, your drive's not engaged, obviously, because you're not holding down the lever with your left hand, so you can just start it up with no threat of it, jumping forward when you start. And it fired right up, no problem at all on a cold Colorado morning. I mentioned how you operate it, so I've engaged the auger. There I am engaging the auger with my right hand. Now I've engaged the drive with my left hand. And now with that center lever, that orange one that I showed you in the previous part of the video, I can move it forward and back and change the speed. So when I go forward in this super wet, heavy snow, you see the snow is higher than the level of the auger and the auger housing. And so I'm trying to just sort of burrow my way into this ridiculously heavy snow. It actually does pretty well. It did tend to bog down, because there's just so much snow and it's so heavy. But when that happens, you can just, with your right hand, just back it off a little bit. You can see the snow's going to fall down there where it's kind of dug underneath it. And now I can shoot that stuff away and just work my way through all of this ridiculously heavy snow. Ideally, with snow this heavy, you wouldn't try to dig the full width of the auger at once. But it's inevitable that you'll have to do that sometimes. And this is one of those situations where, you've got to take the first cut into the snow, and that means that there's going to be the full width of the auger trying to go into that wet, heavy snow. What I found was it did bog down, but once it bogged down, I can easily just sort of back off on that orange, gear shift lever, and it's not a throttle lever, but a transmission lever, and I never killed the engine once on it, and was just able to sort of sense when it was bogging down to give it a little bit of relief. So that's moving an awful lot of snow. I mentioned when I was showing you the controls that there's that up and down lever. And this is an instance where I'm, again, trying to burrow full auger width into the snow, and it's deeper than the auger housing. You can sort of see the chute. We'll try to sort of snorkel into the snow here in a second. You'll see the snow buckling in a bit in this segment of the video. But I just couldn't push it in further. It wouldn't go any further. So I tilted it up, and now I'm like sort of, burrowing through there like I'm a gopher or something, going through digging a tunnel through this snow with the auger raised. And that was really easy to do, just kind of a one finger thing. Everything is still running. I didn't have to stop it and make any adjustments. It's just right back there. And now I lowered it back down because I've gotten through some of that snow, knocked it down on the ground, and now I can move forward. And at this point, the snow wasn't quite as deep once I got that far. And now you can see, the chute is working its way like a snorkel through that snow, and I'm able to dig out a whole ton of snow. But it was nice to be able to tilt that auger to get through the spot where it just wouldn't go when the auger was all the way down. This clip and the next are ridiculously speeded up. And the first one, I'm just showing that once you've got an auger width dug out, it's a lot smoother just to, maybe take a quarter or a third or half of the auger width at a time, depending on how heavy the snow is. And that goes a lot more smoothly than trying to, take out these giant, full auger width loads. And the one after that, there were spots on the deck that I couldn't get to, with the blower. It's just too big to fit in everywhere. So I just basically used a shovel, pushed all this wet, heavy, now slushy stuff into a pile in the center, and then used the blower to blow it all away. So I really like the Honda. I mean, the things I like about it are, one, that hydrostatic transmission. That's just really nice to be able to work the thing back and forth with your right hand, while you're walking along behind it. That's a lot better, I think, than the models that have a separate stick shift to change the speed. So I do like that a lot. And then I really like that tilt. That turned out to be surprisingly useful on that wet, heavy snow, where I was able to tilt the auger and the auger housing up to get through that heavy, heavy snow. Anyways, thanks very much for watching. I realize this wasn't like my normal workshop improvement videos where I'm doing, woodworking projects and working with woodworking tools and all that. I will be getting back to those, but being on vacation and getting back to all the snow, I wanted to do something different. So here it is. In any event, please hit the like button if you liked it. I invite you to subscribe if you want to see, more woodworking oriented stuff. This will probably be my only snowblower video. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.